What's up, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Call Me Thursday podcast. You're here with your best girl, Sarah, and I'm here with my best girl, Sav. Girl, I already know how it's going, but just go and tell the people. Girl, how is it going?
We've been better, guys. We have been better. Which is a sad statement coming off my birthday. But
Fine. It's fine.
the thing is that I really can't get into why I've been better. It's
Don't.
just not. It's not the time. It's not the place. Maybe
Don't.
after.
I can get
maybe
into mine
like
because mine's more surface level. Why I've been better.
yeah. Mine's more like I need some therapy.
That's
We say that as a
existential.
joke. We say that as a joke. I'm not kidding. So I'm gonna have to go through therapy before I can talk about any of the reasons why my week was not great. But I guess no. But surface level for me, Calvin has been. He's my anybody that's newer listening. 14, almost 15-month old at this point. Sweet little angel boy who I love with my whole heart. Apple of my eye is getting his molars, and I think his last of this round is just about through the gum. Thank God in heaven. But it has been a rough week in the parenting space. So there's been a lot of tears, a lot of emotions. And the thing about parenting that I'm learning is that everybody talks about how, like, as kids get older, it gets easier. And in some sense, that's true. As he is more self-sufficient, he can, like, entertain himself a little bit better. All those things are fine and dandy, except for the fact that when they become a toddler, their emotions are now yours to regulate. And so I am just exhausted in every sense of the word. I'm so exhausted. And it's just a lot. Anybody who has kids out there gets it. Anybody who's around kids a lot, I'm sure gets it. But anybody who chooses the route of being a caretaker for children as their full-time job for their entire life, you're a saint. You're a saint. You're from God. And you're better than me. You're better than me.
It's a lot.
It's just a lot. And
it's
I love him so much. It's like it's so hard when it's your kid because it's like, I love you. Like, I love you so much. I want to eat you. But like, I just ugh. That's all I told Christian the other day, I was like, everybody was wishing me a happy birthday. And you know how on your birthday everybody gives you like these words of affirmation and like, you're an amazing mom, Savannah, you carry everything with so much grace. I was like, no, I don't. No, I don't. Stop saying that. And I say it while laughing to like make it lighter. I'm like, stop lying to me.
Well, and like I'm sure you can only measure off of what you see. So from those of us who were observing, we think you're doing great. You know? And your husband, who's with you every day, thinks you're doing great.
Yeah.
So you're probably doing better than you think. If I know you at all, you're doing better than you think.
I'm sure I am. It's just it's comical in the moment when I'm like I also think about people who have been like stay-at-home parents for a long time or like spend most of their days with children. I'm like, if I read the book, there's this book called Trashy Town that Calvin loves. I could read you the book right now without actually having to look at it. I've read it so many times, I'm not kidding. And I'm like, my brain cells dying. I'm like, I am turning into less of a person as I go along. And I know that I'm becoming more of a person in other ways because I'm becoming more patient, more gentle, and like getting fruits of the spirit. But like, holy cow, Mr. Gilly and the trash can man, it's like, I can't. I really can't.
At what cost? At what cost?
So anyways, that's just really scratching the surface of what it's been a bad week.
Okay. It's okay.
How are you? What's up?
You know, I really had every intention to come onto this podcast and talk about how in love I am, because I am. I am in love. I am planning my wedding. I'm planning my life. I am in love. But then not 10 minutes before I sat down, because me being me, I have to do, like, I have a free 10 minutes. Great. Let's scrub my shoes. Like, I can't just sit for 10 minutes.
Of course
like, I can't just enjoy, hey, I have some margin. I have 10 minutes before the podcast. I can sit down. I can, do something. But no, I'm like, I have 10 free minutes. That's enough time to scrub my shoes, which is just a personality fault in and of itself. But then I go under the kitchen sink and I reach to grab this what is it? Like the
Shoe
Mr.
scrubber?
Clean magic
Oh,
eraser, magic eraser.
oh, I was about to say Scrub Daddy,
And
but yeah.
well, I have one of those too. But I was coming to grab the magic eraser and I pull it out of this bin and it's dripping wet. And I'm like,
Ew.
what? What? Excuse me? And then I realized like this tote that's under the kitchen sink that has all these cleaning supplies in it and stuff. It's about a foot deep, maybe 8 inches deep, 10 inches, and more than 6 inches less, maybe less than a foot, almost overflowing with water.
Ew.
And I'm like, great. And then there's all of this like just other nastiness like around said bucket. And I think what happened is that a few weeks ago I put in a maintenance request because like, you know how sinks can switch from like the stream versus like the spray, where ours wasn't switching the right way. And so I think they just put in a whole new faucet. And I think that new faucet has been leaking and so then right before this, I was like trying to clean out from under the faucet. And Emily was on the couch and I was like, Emily, can you come over here and help me? Not knowing, I don't know what I wanted her to do, but I just wanted her to like be there. And then I'm like mad because I'm like, I feel like she didn't do enough stuff, but I'm like, at the end of the day, like what was she supposed to do? Like the sink is leaking. Like what was anybody supposed to do in that moment?
I just want to feel like we're in this together.
Exactly. And like I had 2 towels. I just pulled 2 towels out of my bathroom. Granted, they were towels I don't like very much, but like I just threw them away. Like because I'm like, I don't know what kind of disgustingness is under here. And like, we don't have any just like ratty old like rags or towels that we could have used that were big enough. Yeah. So I just threw away 2 towels. And I mean, they were functioning towels. I just didn't like them very much. Maybe that was secretly because I want to buy more stuff. I don't know. But I'm just annoyed at that. And that kind of just put me in a bad mood. And then I got on here and before we press record, I was just like, bashing our maintenance guy. And like typically the maintenance people and those of us who are still in apartments, and I don't know if this is like you guys have to deal with any of this like renting a house, but like if you're in an apartment, you know, like 2 things that will never show up on an apartment tour but can make or break your experience. Who are my neighbors and what is maintenance like? Yeah. Like those things will never show up on an apartment tour. But if you don't know and there are also things that change. So you can move in and have great neighbors and great maintenance, but like over the course of your lease, like anything could happen. And when we moved in, we have great neighbors. To this day, we have amazing neighbors. Like we got so lucky. Our neighbors are incredible. And when we first got here, we had awesome maintenance staff. But I think that recently the maintenance staff is kind of just starting to go. Like I had a maintenance request not that long ago because I thought one of the eyes on the stove was going out. And I guess it just kind of fixed itself. I feel like I'm kind of the girl who cried wolf with things being broken, but it fixed itself. And the guy was like, well, I'm just going to leave this spare burner here, like in case it goes out. And I'm like, no, you're not. Like, what? No. But then I wasn't there when he left it, but I saw him later and he told me that he left it. And I was like, well, you need to come get it. And he was like, well, I don't know if we have the key to y'all's unit. We may have lost it. So I might need to wait till you're home to come get. I'm like, what are you? And so I go to my apartment, get the burner, come to the front desk, and I just drop this on this woman's desk. I'm like, please take. And she's like, did he just? I'm like, yes, he just left it. Like, and I'm not trying to be like a jerk resident, but like this maintenance child, I mean, because he seems like a pretty young kid, left a burner, and in case it breaks, you can replace it, tenant. I'm like, first of all, that's problem number 1. And then problem number 2 is when I tell you that you need to come pick it up, you tell me that you maybe possibly lost the key to my unit and you don't know if you can get in without me being there. Thankfully, I know that they haven't lost it because when they put in this new faucet, nobody was home. So they had to have gotten themselves in and out. So that's fine. But like, I'm just like, the maintenance people out in the apartment really can make or break the experience. And I'm a little frustrated with maintenance right now. Yeah. But like, it's fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal. 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 Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. But maintenance people can make or break. And so can neighbors.
Yes, they can. That's for sure. We've had good and bad of both experiences.
One time when I was living in Huntsville, like one of the rules was like you could not leave obviously you can't leave your trash outside your door. Just in life. Okay? You can't really do that. Especially when you're living in an apartment. Well, I had a neighbor across the hall who was always leaving her trash outside the door. And you remember my first apartment, I had every sort of insect imaginable in that apartment.
Oh, you're like, go. Get
and
out.
So for a while, I would just take her trash out for her. Because I was like, this is disgusting. Like, I don't want bugs in my apartment, so I'm just going to take the trash out for you. And I took the trash out for her for a while, and that she didn't get the memo. And so, and this is, yeah, I'm a snitch, whatever. We can talk about it. Like, fight me. I'm a snitch. I took pictures of the trash and I emailed it to the apartment office. And I was like, I just want you guys to know, like, I've been taking this girl's trash out for a month and she can't seem to get the hint. And my apartment's covered in bugs. You guys know this because I keep submitting
Does she think
maintenance
that
requests.
somebody? It's just like
It's a trash fairy. It's a new service that the apartment's offering
Right.
that she's getting for free. That's what I'm saying. And so I rat on her, and then the apartment emails me back and it's like, thanks for letting me know. We fined this individual. I think they fined her like $500 for
Right.
doing it. So then I had to move quickly because then I made a neighbor who hated me. But
gotta go.
I don't play. That's
No.
nasty.
Especially with bugs. You guys know.
Listen.
We're not gonna get into it. We're not gonna get into the bug thing because we get too deep when we go
But
into
it's
it.
just
But we all know.
zero tolerance. And that's the thing in like
Yeah.
an apartment complex, that you can have great neighbors and never see a bug. But if you have bad neighbors who are just like nasty and leave their stuff out,
Ew. Yeah.
you know, and I think that's the thing about like just humanity. Like, guys, we have to work together. We got to be a team here. We got to be a team. And we can't all live in this communal space that is an apartment and not have teamwork going on.
Yeah.
Love your neighbor. Oh, anyway. Okay. I'm done being annoyed. I'm done being annoyed. I'm done talking about the woes of living in an apartment. But actually, living in an apartment is great. I actually love living in an apartment. I actually have no beef with an apartment. Before I buy a house, somebody has to help me understand equity. Until then, I'm not buying one. So I have no beefs with apartments. I just have beefs with neighbors who are not considerate. And maintenance people who leave appliances at my home. Not even appliances, parts.
Yeah, I really didn't mind apartment life either. I mean, house life is nice. I feel like renting a house really is kind of the sweet spot because you have all of the luxury of a house, but you don't have to deal with the expenses of being a homeowner. But you also don't get the equity of being a homeowner, so it feels like you're still throwing money away every month. Whatever.
But you have like the space. I feel like the space for you guys too, like baby, dog, like the space has got to be key.
It totally makes sense. It definitely does. Especially dog. Dog is like such a big thing. Which your apartment complex is nice because you don't have like the like hallway elevator situation for a dog. You can just like walk out your door. But anyways, I digress about that.
I digress. But other than that, I am in love. Back to what I originally thought I was going to come on here and talk about. I'm in love. I'm getting married. I'm so excited. I was in Atlanta this weekend and just feel all of the, not just like excitement, but like I just feel all of the peace and the certainty in the world, which is such a great feeling. Like, it's such a big move and such a big change. And like literally everything about my life is changing. But like, I'm so rock solid that we're doing the right thing, which is so exciting.
That's such a
We
good
made some progress over the weekend that I feel like such a wife. Like, I feel like such a wife with what happened over the weekend. So we watched one football game. We did watch the Georgia Tech, Florida State. And then after that was over, I was like, well, you know, it could be fun. Because we've been just stacking. All of the gifts off the registry have just been mailed to him. And then I've also been bringing over like some clothes and some other things just to start like slowly migrating things over. And so the whole dining room area is just like full of boxes, bags, suitcases, all this stuff. I'm like, you know what could be fun? Is we could start unpacking.
That's
and
so
like
fun.
Washing things. So like if we got all this Tupperware, we need to wash all of it and we need to put it away. We need to decide what cabinet everything goes in.
Ooh.
It's gonna be fun for us. And because he loves me, he said yes. And so we were organized. Like I was having him like, okay, bring me this box, bring me this box. He was taking things out of boxes. I was hand washing them. I was picking the cabinets they went in. He was breaking down boxes as we went. I was like, okay, put stuff in this high cabinet and this high cabinet. I don't know who I think I am. I think I own a 5-bedroom house because I have so many serving platters. I'm like, I don't know what kind of party I'm throwing, but my whole registry was like serving platters and serving bowls and
yeah.
But I'm just so excited anyway.
That's like quintessential wedding gift. It really is.
Like these crate and barrel, like rectangle, like casserole dishes that are 3 sizes. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm making in these, but they're so beautiful. I think, so anyway, I just think that I had a lot of fun in that I'm feeling like I'm starting to nest a little bit and I'm
Oh,
like
that's so
having
fun.
my man's like, we were in the closet and I'm like, okay, can you like hang this here, move this, reach up on this top shelf, put that there, like just kind of telling him what to do, you know? And I just felt very wifely of me.
It is very wifely. It sure is. It sure is. Especially when you have a husband who is like more like doesn't care about that stuff.
Hmm.
Like I feel like Christian and I's dynamic is almost kind of backwards. Like he cares a lot about how things are organized and how how the closet is organized. So I
Hmm.
usually am like, just put your stuff in there and I'll work my stuff around it or whatever.
Yeah, I digress. Yeah, you just
Yeah, but I feel like the standard is how you and Jonathan are. So
well, and he surprisingly cares about some stuff. He's like,
Mhm.
you know, he has like this air pump in the kitchen, and then he has like his power drill in another cabinet. I'm like, well, do you think that we could maybe I think we could maybe work on not having the power tools in the kitchen is maybe like just something that we could like work
Right.
toward. But in the meantime, do you think we can maybe consolidate so the air pump is not by the cereal and we could like maybe just
Right.
put those things in one cabinet? And he's like, I'm not going to know where any of my stuff is. He's like, where is everything? Because I do think that one time when I helped him move from the first apartment to this one, there was I feel like it was like it was something that I moved and then he was like, where is it? And I'm like, I don't remember. And he was like, see, I can't find my stuff. Where's all my stuff? I can't find it. And so I'm like, be patient, be patient, be patient. It's fine. So I do think that I think I'm a little bit surprised at how there's some stuff. I think he just wants to know the lay of the land. Like he just wants to know where things are. He
Yeah.
does not want to, which I completely understand. He does not want to be inconvenienced by not being able to find things, especially when I'm not there. So it's like I choose where everything goes and then I go home.
Yeah.
And then he can't find his stuff, which I get. So yeah, we did that. And then we bought bedding. So we have not bought our bed.
Very
Well, but
nice.
we have sheets. So we picked up bedding, we picked up pillows. So we just did a lot of like little home things that feel
Very
nice.
fun. That is fun. And it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like pre-wedding, all of that stuff is like, it feels so little when you're like zooming out on it, but it's like,
Mhm.
it's so fun in the moment to
Oh
just be
yeah.
like prepping the little details for your life together. That is very
It
close.
is. I
It is
know. Like
it's
we
very
went
close
to
on the
lunch
horizon.
and then after lunch he like looked at me and he's like, "Do you want to go to Target and look at storage?" And I'm like, "Yes! Yes!
I
Yes!
do.
Yes!" I'm like, "I love you. Yes. I want to go to Target and look at storage."
Cute.
Because we were like, gosh, we need it's like we sound like such adults, like we need more storage. We just gotta have more storage. We gotta have more and then we're looking at these storage options. And it's like, okay, what are we storing in here?
Yeah.
We don't know. We just need storage. We just
We
gotta have
just
more
need storage.
storage.
You guys need to go because there's an IKEA in Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should go to
There's an
IKEA.
IKEA and
I
there's a container
love
store.
I've never been to the container store, but I do love IKEA, and I feel like IKEA storage is 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm thinking some sort of like closed 2-door cabinet thing. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's just such an adult thing. Like we're all just walking around saying like, God, gotta have more storage. Just
I
need
gotta
storage.
have
Or I have
more
great
places
storage.
to put my stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I'm like, what are we putting here again?
Yeah.
And we don't even know. We're like,
Yeah.
need storage. Gotta have storage. Need storage.
Right.
So anyway, so it was just a very wifely weekend in my new place of residence, which I will be moving to in a mere matter of weeks.
Like 6 weeks.
Like
Right?
5, 6 weeks, man. Like this is the last week of August, then we're in September and my wedding's in October.
I know. I got my bridesmaid's dress this week, which is
You
very
look so
exciting.
beautiful.
Thank you. I really like it. I'm really excited about it too because I feel like it's something that I can wear again.
100%.
And I feel like I say that about a lot of bridesmaids dresses that I buy, and then I never end up wearing it again. But this one, I genuinely think I'll wear again.
But I think
shout out
that
to you
like
for picking your bridesmaid's
black.
color as you did. Yeah. So.
But I will say, I think that especially now that we're older, because definitely if I had bought that dress, that like the dress that you bought, if I bought that when we were 21, like where are we going? You know,
Right.
I just feel like
But,
the older you get, you have more opportunities.
Yes, like I mean, even just like a date, like a nice date night with like a cute little coat over it or something would be really cute. So
Totally.
I'll do the big reveal on Sarah's wedding day. Both of us.
Well, yeah, I guess we'll both do our big reveal.
Not to make it about me, but just kidding.
We'll do the big reveal on the actual day.
And you're all
Where'd
dying.
you get it from?
It's from Anthro.
Cute.
So yeah, I splurged a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but
good.
You know, it's like I would rather splurge and get something that I'm gonna wear again rather than like spend less on something that I'm not, just
Yeah, fast fashion. We talk about it. It's
we
a
talk
thing
about
over
it.
here.
I'm just trying to be sustainable out here. I really am. I care about the earth a lot. So
Sustainability, for sure.
yeah.
I almost said, while I have you for the next 40 minutes. We're recording a podcast. Call us content consumers. We're back.
Yes,
We need some
we're back.
sort of jingle, but I'm not going to force it. It's going to come organically. It's got to come organically. But we are content consumers. This is a little segment that we are casually kind of folding into our episodes where, yes, you guys call us on Thursday, and not only are we content creators. Yeah, I'm a content creator. I'm a podcast. Actually, I'm just a podcaster.
Just a podcaster. This is the only content that I plan on creating. And then the supplemental information graphics that go on Instagram. That's about it. Yeah.
That's all we got. Yeah. But we are content consumers. We actually have no beef with content. Actually, we love the creators. We love the content. I will be talking about this later, but for the most part, we love content. And the content that I have been consuming this week. Well, number one, I finally finished the podcast that I recommended last week, which felt like such a gamble because I'm like, I recommended that podcast and like, hopefully it didn't turn out to be like, disgusting and horrible, but I did finish it on my drive back.
What'd you think?
Really good.
Okay.
It was really good. I would recommend, if historical is such a different genre for me podcast wise, but I really liked it. No regrets. But this week, the content that I've been consuming, without further ado, I know you guys have been waiting with bated breath. The Joyce Meyer Enjoying Everyday Life radio podcast.
Love Enjoying Everyday Life, she calls it. I love it.
Leave me alone. I sent Sav a screenshot and she saw it was on my podcast app and she was like, the Joyce Meyer podcast, LOL.
She's being true to her content cleanse and listening to Joyce faithfully as she is supposed to. Enjoying Everyday Life, trademark.
Enjoying Everyday Life, trademark radio podcast. And really what it is it is sermons of hers that someone has divided into 15-minute clips.
Aww.
And I'm starting to see the appeal of the 15-minute. I really am. Like, it's just enough for me to, like, I leave my office, I go get a Starbucks, and I come back, and I've pretty much listened to the whole podcast. So I'm like, perfect. So I'm starting to get the allure of the shorter podcast. Shameless plug, go listen to our solo episodes. But I love it. And some of the titles, I'm going to tell you guys, The Prayer of Faith, Simple Prayer and Simple Life, The Power of Simple Prayer.
Love.
Your life is what you make it. That one was a good one. Your life, it's like series of episodes. That's what Joyce said.
So let's make it rock. Make it rock.
At Savannah, at Joyce Meyer. Yes.
At Hannah Montana.
It is at Hannah Montana. What did Joyce Meyer, Savannah Chavez, and Hannah Montana all have in common?
I have this on. So I have like a running note every week of things that I want to talk about. And something I had on my running note that I ended up deleting because I never actually brought it up is there was a song that I listened to the other day that it's like the I'm gonna soak up the sun.
Love.
There's a absolutely revelatory line in that song that I had to share with the people. And it's that of course I don't know what it is.
Look it up.
I've got to look
it up.
I've got to
you didn't know. Because that song is in every good movie from the early 2000s.
Yes, it sure is. And the lyrics are it's not having what you want, it's wanting what you've got.
Aww. Wait, who sings that song?
Wonderful. Revelatory. Sheryl Crow.
A queen.
It's not having what you want, it's wanting what you've got.
Oh, that's good. Girls, when we're feeling a little depressy, that's the one. Pick that one up, please.
Signed by Sheryl Crow. Just turn it on. Have it
just
on.
Turn it on.
It's good.
Life's what you make it. Have that as the close second. Put it in the queue. I'm gonna soak up the sun. Life's what you make it. Put it in the queue.
Yeah. Call me podcast playlist. I love it.
We're working on it. Instagram, has the profile songs now, so those two might be in the running. We're picking.
We have to. That's so true.
Those are in the running for the profile song. They're up there.
Oh my gosh. I love that. My content that I've been consuming, I really, really wanted to talk about the book that I've been reading because I'm absolutely obsessed with it. But I have to probably defer that to next week because this week I had to put my book down because it truly was like distracting me from being able to do all the things that like every time I'm supposed to be working, I keep picking up my book and reading. So I had to put it down for a week. But the content that I have been consuming that I've been loving is a podcast I think it's technically like relatively new. Like there's only a handful of episodes out, but they put it out last year and then took a long break. And now that they just started re-releasing podcasts again or episodes again, but it's called No Secrets by Charles and Abby Metcalf. Have you heard of them?
No, but Metcalf sounds familiar. Oh, wait. I feel like he was just on Carl Lentz's podcast. Is that the same guy?
Maybe. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. No, it absolutely wouldn't surprise me because he is one of the executive pastors at Transformation Church where the Lentzes go to church.
Then that would be, yes. I did not listen to, what's his name's podcast this week? What's that man's name? Carl Lentz. I did not listen to his podcast this week, but I think he had this guy on.
Oh, okay. Well, now I want to listen because I am absolutely obsessed with the Metcalf family currently. They're so cute. They're like, I think they're our age. They might be a couple years older than us, but they have 4 children. 4. Which I keep coming across people that are my age that have like 4 and 5 children. And I'm like, I guess I shouldn't be surprised by this anymore, but it is jarring for me when I meet people who are my age or like relatively my age and have a ton of kids.
That many kids?
I don't know how you do it, but I'm amazed by you. But they're just so cool. They're both so creative. I think he's technically like the executive creative pastor at Transformation Church. But they just seem like the most genuine people. Like he's from, I think, Kentucky. She might be from Tulsa. But they're like, I don't know, they're just so cool, creative, very artsy. They dress really cool. But they're also like hustling with 4 kids, like probably a year apart each. Like they're in the thick of it with toddler life right now, and they still just look so cool. But they do a podcast called No Secrets that's about like marriage and life and parenting and ministry and stuff, and it's really good. So
I feel like I would like
recommend
that. Yeah, I just pulled the podcast up, and in their bio, it's Charles and Abby Rose Metcalf, 4 children. Ready for the names? Arlo, Luna, Jade, and Blue.
Very cool. Is there anything cooler? No.
And then so Justin and Hailey Bieber had their baby.
Oh, they did.
Can
you imagine having Justin Bieber's child?
Can you imagine having Hailey Bieber's child? You know, I mean, like just the 2 of them together. Like what? But like, what is it? Is it Jack Blue or Jack Blues? I feel like it's Blues, like song.
Oh,
I need to look this up.
Maybe, yeah.
I need to look this up.
Jack is such a cute name, though.
Justin Bieber. Jack Blues, which is cool.
Very cute.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I think that and I feel like there's a lot of pressure to have a good name these days. I feel like you guys knocked it out of the park. Calvin James, like Calvin James.
Yeah.
So good.
I'm really proud of that one.
And like the one name, and this is just where if you guys want to go ahead and start praying for my marriage, you can do it here. Because the 2 names I've always only ever wanted, one for a boy and one for a girl. I'll tell it to you guys now because they're not going to happen. I love the name Theodore. And when
we talked about this because that was in the running for us.
It literally almost I had to pray to not have a hard heart towards Savannah because she was thinking about naming her child Theodore. And I was like, God, it's not fair. She got to have a kid first. It's just not fair. It's just not fair. She's going to take my name. She's going to take my name. Well, then now you could have taken it. You can have it now because I literally said it's Jonathan, and he's like, that'd be good for like a dog.
Never have I ever met a dog named Theodore.
Hey. So he hates the name Theodore.
Okay,
and I love the name Mariah, and I think that that's like a maybe, but it's probably not going to happen. So like all I've ever wanted is a Theodore and a Mariah. I don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, those are really cute names, though. I love Theodore because I love Teddy. I think Teddy is such a cute name.
Theo, my childhood crush.
Theo's very cute. Our apartment complex that we lived at when Calvin was born was called Theo, and so we knew that we didn't want to like name him Theodore and call him Theo when we lived at the Theo, you know? That felt a little bit weird. But if we had named him Theodore, we were going to call him Teddy because it was going to be named after this designer that we both like. So anyways, but yeah, I love all of the baby names that are coming out these days though. Like I love Benny that JC Marie Smith
I love Benny.
Named their daughter Benny. So cute for a girl. Mm-hmm. I'm loving like the names that are usually for boys being used for girls. I think that's cute. It's so cute. Yeah.
And I think that even like now that some years have passed, I definitely think Kanye and Kim were ahead of their time. Like I think North, Saint, Psalm, Chicago.
Oh,
I think those are all such cool names.
Yeah.
Those are such cool names.
My dog is named Saint, so I will never name my child Saint. but
like I think I think they were definitely ahead of their time on the like strange names that actually ended up being really cool.
yeah, totally. And like the colors, yeah. I
Mhm.
think I
What's
agree with
another color name that would be good? It's not blue. Because obviously we've got Blue
that.
Ivy, we've got blue from these Metcalf folks.
I don't know
Can
if
you do
there's another
green?
one. Green. Yeah, I don't know if there's another one. It might just be
Red.
blue.
Red. Did you
Violet.
see Violet?
Yeah.
That's classic. I mean, but you definitely can't do like purple. I did see the Wilkersons, their fourth, fifth, however many kids, Wolf.
Wolf. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I love that one, but
I don't think I
to each
do.
his
I
own.
guess yeah. But I do like the idea of like kids with the same letter. Like, do you guys think you'll do like Calvin and then another C name?
That's what we. If guys, if
She's
we
not
have a
pregnant, guys. By
girl,
the way, like
no, I'm
I'm not.
not. We
Sorry.
talk about it always keeps. I'm really not. I'm really not. I did think that I was a couple weeks ago, but I'm not. So can confirm. Currently not pregnant. But I have the perfect girl name for like if we have a girl next
Mhm.
that I will not share because it's
Don't
like
tell them,
it's
Savannah.
what's going to be the girl name if we have a girl next.
Well, you can tell me, but don't tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like if Calvin had been a girl, it's what we were gonna name her. So, that you guys are just gonna have to wait. Because if ever
Sorry.
we have a
And
girl,
like
no
this
way.
is the way that culture has turned. It's you guys' fault that we're this secretive with these names. Like,
I know.
I'm sorry, no one's safe.
I know. And
No
you know,
one's
the
safe.
name that I love for a girl too, that I'm kind of bummed that we used it for Calvin's second name. I love James for a girl. I think that's so cute.
It's cute. It's very classy.
Yeah, James is really cute. I love Collins for a girl. So
Mhm.
Collins was like but Christian doesn't like Collins.
Mhm.
But I think like Calvin and Collins would have been really cute.
Mhm.
But he doesn't. He's like, I really don't want to overdo this C thing. That's like a little bit too much because like our last name starts with a C is too much.
It's
So
too much.
yeah, that's what he thinks. I'm like, let's do it. Let's overdo it.
Yeah,
Let's do
that's
I'm
I'm
down.
kind of like, and now I'm like, okay, what are some names that start with L? I'm like, what are some good? We already know Lennox. I feel like
I
we can't
love
take
Leo for
Lennox.
a boy. Leo's
Leo's
very
cool.
cute, similar to Theo.
Mhm.
I've
Leo
seen a
would
lot
be
of the
cute for a girl.
Lennons. Lennon is cute. Oh, Leo
Lennon.
would be cute for a girl.
Leo would
Yeah.
be so cute for a girl.
Yeah. So
Baby names. What were we talking about? How did we get
I
here? Oh no, your content that you've been consuming.
yes,
Metcalf.
the Metcalfs, the
The
four
names of their
children.
kids.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
I'm gonna
just
listen to that
love
podcast. I'm gonna add
them,
it to my
and they
rotation.
inspire me to like. Which I know Abby is a stay-at-home mom, for the most part, but she also does a lot of like she's a painter, like she does a lot of cool
Oh,
creative stuff
cool.
on her own time.
Mhm.
But they just inspire me to be, and this is actually something I had on my list to talk about today. They inspire me to like be the parents that like they don't necessarily make parenting their whole personality, even though it takes up so much of their life because they have 4 very young kids, very close in age. But it just feels like they are really good at like they did an episode on their podcast of like their weekly rhythms and the way that they get rest and the way that they're like prioritizing time for their marriage. And it just seems like they're very much so still their own person, but they also have 4 kids, which is
Mhm.
just super inspiring to me because the thing that I wrote down that I want to talk about is that I am getting so frustrated with myself, I think, for how like I've just been giving myself a really hard time with how frustrated I've been getting with being at home with Calvin full time. And I think like now that he's getting into toddlerhood, like this is probably just a natural progression that like it does get harder in a lot of ways because it takes more skill. Like it takes more emotional regulation for yourself to be able to like help regulate their emotions and like knowing how to help them learn and like helping them develop their speech and like stuff that I've never learned how to do. Like I don't know what I'm doing. And so it feels like our days are kind of the same over and over again. But I say all this to say I've kind of been hinting at for the last couple of episodes that I'm thinking about going back to work. And I am still like really seriously considering it because I just don't and I don't know if I'm ready to like make this declaration that this is for sure it, but like right now this week I'm having a hard time with like the full-time mom thing. And I think it might benefit me and my mental to be around adults more during the day. And I think like during Calvin's first year of life, and I hope that this just like encourages a mom out there that maybe is at home with their kids and like maybe is thinking about going back to work but feels really guilty for it because I'm dealing with a lot of guilt with it too. But it's like now that he's past a year old, it doesn't feel as scary to drop him off at school every day. And like I felt so afraid of it when he was under a year old, and it was like he's so tiny, he's still so dependent on me and whatever. And like seeing him interact with other kids is really fun now. And so I think maybe him going to school could be a good thing for him. But I say all this to say the thing that I really want to talk about is how it feels like in America, the ideal mom and like the mom to strive to be is the mom who like I've always wanted to be a mom, and I've always only ever wanted to be a mom, and I've always like my dream is to be able to stay home and like not have to work and like stay home with my kids, and like that's all I have to do. And I think that people who have the mental stamina to do that, you're amazing. But like I just don't know if I have that. And
Sure.
so I think I'm like I've been grappling with that. And that's
Mhm.
probably part of what's like going into me having a hard week is on top of a hard parenting week. I'm like, does that make me a bad mom for wanting to go back to work when he's only like a little bit over a year old? Or is that just like embracing that that's who I am, and that's like I know that I love to work, and that's okay. But I also like don't have many friends around me in our current circle that do that. It's like everybody's either doesn't have kids or they have kids, and like momming is their full thing, and that's like their whole personality. And again,
Mhm.
like I said, that's not me shaming you. I'm like, I admire you. They are able to
Mhm.
do that and love it. But that's just, I don't think that that's me. And so that's just what I'm grappling with. And I'm like frustrated that it feels like in American culture, if that's not the mom that you want to be, then you're selfish and you're a bad mom. Um, and
Yeah.
like you can't deal with the sacrifice that it takes to be a good parent. And blah. So
That's
it's like
so
I'm not
wild
carrying
that
it
like
heavily, but it's
Mhm.
just like that's so annoying. It's so annoying.
Well, and I think that like historically, and this is what makes it so interesting is because I think there was a period where like that's all women could do and be. We weren't
Mhm.
allowed to do anything else. So people
Totally.
excelled at being at home because they didn't have any options. And then we got options. And then I think that not long ago we were in a like culturally there was such this girl boss era that I think was working really hard to push up against those like female stereotypes. That's where kind of the question of can you have it all? Can you have it all at once?
Yeah.
Can I be a mom and a wife and a CEO or a very influential person in my company or whatever? I think there was this whole era of like really pushing back against those norms that have probably been norms for our whole entire existence, like of humanity. You know, I don't think that there were, I shouldn't say the whole existence of humanity, but I think in, our grandparents' era, women didn't really do any other things, or maybe
Mhm.
even our great grandparents' era, they didn't really do a ton of other things. And then
Yeah.
we had the opportunity to do more pushing back against this like cultural norm. And then I think now it's almost going back the other way with like the trad wives are such a thing. And like
Mhm.
I think so many of like the really successful, I think, content creators that I've come across they started as stay at home moms
Yeah.
and they just started doing the social media thing. And then their platforms blew up and now they're content creators and moms, but like, that's the whole trad wife era that we're in right now.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's like it's totally untrue that you would be a bad mom for going back to work because think of all the other moms who like don't have the choice and they're going to work. Like they're
Right.
not bad moms, for choosing to put their kid in daycare. And then like I think that it would be like really exhausting to push back on how God made you. Like if God made you
Yeah.
with this desire to like work and to contribute and to be around other people and like, you know, like if God made you one way to like try so hard to run in the other direction to like fit in a cultural mold, like that would be exhausting in a different kind of way, you know?
Yeah,
That'd be like
totally.
a
And
deeper exhaustion.
yes, and like oh my gosh, exhausting is such a good word for it because I feel like what's exhausting is how culture is swinging women back and forth on this pendulum of
Mhm.
10 years ago, like you said, 10 years ago, it was women stay, like, go to work, like your kids don't have to run your life, go like be a girl boss, go be a CEO. And now it's like, no, soft girl era, like other end of the
Mhm.
pendulum. um, so yeah, so that part, like that in and of itself is exhausting because it's like culture is constantly telling you like what's the better thing to do. But
Mhm.
this is why I was saying it's like it feels like such an American thing because that book that I talked about a couple episodes ago, the Raising Up Bebe, the little like
Yeah.
French parenting book,
Mhm.
apparently in Europe and especially in France, it's so common for moms to work. And like
Mhm.
it's very uncommon for moms to be full-time like stay-at-home moms. And even if they are, they still there's like a government sponsored childcare program where like they still drop their kids off at daycare a couple of days a week, even if they don't work.
Mhm.
And so you've still got like time away from your kids.
Mhm.
And like studies are showing that it's good for the kids and it's good for the parents. Like it's good in both senses. And so I'm trying to remind myself of that like just because in America it feels like this might be being like shoved down my throat a little bit, in other parts of the world it's actually completely normal for moms to go back to work very like 6 months after having their kids, and like it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
what's the big deal? Like literally, okay, you know?
Yeah. It's not a bad
So
thing. No,
yeah,
it's not a bad thing. I think that I could see how though you would feel that way, and like
yeah.
that stinks to feel that way. But I do think that the more, and this is probably just in life, like the more that we're in tune with like how we're made, and I think obviously Sav and I, we think that that comes from when you know Jesus, you know yourself, because if you know who
Mhm.
made you, you'll know more about yourself than like some like quiz could ever tell you.
Yeah,
I love the Enneagram, but the Enneagram, doesn't know who I am to my core.
right.
But I think like the more that you know God, the more you know yourself. And like once you know more about like how God created you and what he created you to do, I think that that like frees you up from some of the cultural things. And it doesn't make it any less annoying though that like culture is really loud about it for sure. Like
Mhm.
culture is just really loud about what we should and shouldn't be doing. And I think that like I've kind of felt that a little this week with like, so I've said I've really been sticking close to my content cleanse. And it's really just now,
Mhm.
it's just I've just fully adopted it because I talked to you guys about this a few weeks ago, how my kind of I don't think it's that hot of a take, but I think that a lot of us, especially the girlies, like I think we're hustling backwards. I think we're actually aging ourselves in reverse because we consume content, the Real Housewives and some of these podcasts that are out there that are like, we're adults and, we're eating Caesar salads and French fries and martinis and Diet Cokes and we're paying our bills. And here's my, 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5. I'm a working girl. I'm hustling, but like you're consuming content that's like not maturing you mentally or emotionally or spiritually. And
Mhm.
so it's like you're hustling backwards. Like you think that you're grown up and you think that you're growing up and you're maturing because you're consuming content that's produced by people in your same age group or even maybe older than
Mhm.
you. But actually like what you're putting into yourself is you're not getting more mature. You're going the other direction. So it's like you're growing old, but you're not really growing up.
Yeah.
And I feel just I felt a conviction if weeks ago, months ago, whenever it was, to stop hustling backwards, and to grow up, and not be kind of lulled to sleep by content that seems harmless. And I even had somebody tell me, it was either early this week or late last week, was kind of like talking to them about this idea of like growing up and maturity and whatever. And she was like, well, and she meant it I think in a nice way, but she's like, I don't think you have to be worried about not taking things seriously. Like kind of was like joking with me, like you don't listen, like you don't need to worry about that. Like you take everything kind of seriously,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you don't need to worry about that. And I mean, obviously it was meant in like a really nice way, but it kind of got me thinking about, and I wish I could find it. It was from years ago, but Jackie Hill Perry posted something along these lines of like, kind of only you know what your best is. And I talk about this a
Mhm.
lot, like when I'm teaching a group class, like only you know what you have in the bank. So like if other
Mhm.
people are looking at you and are saying like, oh my gosh, she's working so hard in this group exercise class, or she's so mature, or she's so driven, or she's so good at her career, or whatever, like only you know if you're phoning it in. Like only
Mhm.
you know, because again, Sav and I, we've both, and I say it without any qualms. My 70% is a lot of other people's 100%. But
Mhm.
granted, like, hey, I also acknowledge that my 100% is a lot of other people's 70%. Like,
Yeah.
there are people who I know do, perform at a higher level than I do, but I also know that I'm a pretty high performing individual. But only I know if I'm giving everything my best, So it's like, okay, yeah, I cut out reality TV and I cut out podcasts that made me feel like I was mentally aging in reverse. And like somebody can look at that and say, like, oh my gosh, well, Sarah, like you're so mature. Like you're already so mature. Like you don't have to worry about that. Like you're already so mature. You don't have to worry about that. Or you already have a great body. Like you don't have to worry about working out. Or let me comment. Nobody has literally ever said that to me. I just want to make that clear. No, literally no one's ever said that to me. I was just trying to give examples, please. Like you already have such great skin. You don't have to do fill in the blank, or you already have such a great relationship with God. You don't have to, read your Bible every day or listen to so and so podcasts. Like you're already so spiritually mature. You don't have to do fill in the blank. And it's like, I don't know, because I think that's an easy way to get lulled to sleep by like people approve of you, and people are telling you based on what I've observed of you from the outside.
You don't have to try so hard.
You don't have to try so hard, but only I know that like I'm phoning it in at like a 70%. And I know that God's calling me to more. So even though other people are telling me, hey, you're mature, you already take everything so seriously, don't take this so seriously. And I get it. And there is a place where I can't take everything so seriously, right? And like those moments are warranted, and I get that. But like when I guess what I'm trying to say is like when you know that you have room to grow, but somebody else is already telling you that you're the best, and they're like stroking your ego a little bit, like not getting lulled to sleep by that, And like, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yes, no, it totally does. I think about it in the lens of like how we always joke about TikTok and how TikTok is like, oh, it's just like a source of joy. Like it's just a source of joy. And like in a lot of ways it is. Like I laugh really hard when I'm on TikTok most of the time. But also like a lot of the time when I'm on TikTok, I'm like, I wasted an hour. Like that is and I can't remember if we've talked about this on an episode or if we've talked about this just on the phone, but like the value of time spent, it's like that hour is gone. It's gone. And like for what?
I know. Even just
So
this week, I scrolled TikTok for 3 minutes, and there's this girl, I don't remember her name, and I don't know that I would shout her out even if I could, because I honestly don't remember her name, and she's probably not great, but
not trying to endorse you, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to endorse her, but she's so funny. And what makes her so funny is she is from like, she's super heavy British accent, and she looks like me. She's a brown girl, and she's angry. She's an angry brown girl with a thick English accent, and she's hysterical. She is so funny. Like every time, everything that comes out of her mouth, I'm rolling. Like I watched 3 minutes of her stuff and I'm rolling. I'm laughing so hard. But then I'm like, no, as somebody who, if gone unchecked without the Holy Spirit, I can tend toward a little anger. I can tend toward anger. Like I don't like. It's probably not healthy for me that I think this, because in this girl, I think she literally is starting some sort of podcast or something. It's like girls who were mad. Like she's like. She's deeply angry.
I don't need this fuel. I really don't. I don't need this fuel.
She's so funny. And I'm like, oh, like, so being angry, like that can be funny. Like when I'm mad, it can be funny. It can be comical. It can be humorous. And it's like, no, like you can't. But I think that there are also just like very well-intentioned people who would tell me like, oh, you're not like, that's not that big of a deal. And like, only I know what's a big deal. Like just like in a workout class, only people might say that you killed it today. And oh my gosh, you picked up the 4-pound weights, you killed it. But only you know that you could have picked up 5s. Yeah. And like everyone else might be praising you for 4s, and 4s are great, but you know that you could have picked up 5s, and nobody else knows that for you, Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And so that's a thing that like, again, just like requires maturity. Another thing that required maturity this week is unfollowing somebody on LinkedIn. Because I kept putting myself in a position to be angry because, and this is, Sav's talking about what she had to write down, what she wrote down to talk about on the podcast this week. That was edifying and is going to encourage someone. I have nothing that's going to encourage you. I just have what I'm currently disgusted by, which is I think that my personality, I'm very big on what is the intended use of something.
Mhm.
I like to talk in definitions. I like to, like, if we start to talk about something, give me the definition. Like, I need the what is
Mhm.
it? What was the intended use? You know, when people start to talk about minimum wage, like, was minimum wage, is that meant to be a livable wage? I'm like, okay, well, when they came up with minimum wage, what was the intended use of minimum wage? Was it
Mhm.
meant to be a livable wage in scale, or was it meant, like, what was it meant for? Like, I always like to go back to things intended use. What is it intended for? LinkedIn was not intended for what it is being used for today. And as an HR girly who spends a lot of time on LinkedIn, I am so annoyed by LinkedIn influencers
Yeah.
who are like, it's become like this weird cross between Instagram and TikTok, but also trying to be like business. And this is where I had to mature. Was I was following this guy who is such a LinkedIn influencer, and he tried to make like a hot take post, like, stop penalizing people for being late. And it's like, can't it just be enough that you just showed up? And I'm like, we're on a
No.
business platform. We're on a
Goodbye.
business platform. Like, this is a professional
Bro.
networking platform
Get
that
out
is
of
made
here.
to make connections, to show off your accomplishments, to connect with colleagues. This is not for you to post a hot take about, you know, I'm really tired of people getting penalized for being late. You know, at least I showed up. And like, in all seriousness. And I'm like, maturity was unfollowing this person. That's what maturity was. It was just not putting myself in a position to continue to be angry. But like, I am going to talk about it on my podcast because I think it's the craziest thing in the world that people are pursuing LinkedIn influencership.
I just pulled up
So
LinkedIn
crazy.
because I don't spend a ton of time on LinkedIn unless I'm like getting an itch to apply for jobs, which, you know, recently maybe.
We can talk about that later.
But yeah. But like, as I'm scrolling just on my homepage, I'm like, what is this?
What is this place?
This?
What is this
What
place?
is this? This is not what I expected.
I don't like it.
I totally agree with you. That it's just not the time and place, guys.
So that was one guy, and I had to intentionally unfollow him. And then on LinkedIn, you see like posts will come up of like, if people that you follow or are connected with, if they liked or commented on it or something,
Mhm.
it'll show up on your feed. And somebody who, I don't know how I'm connected to this man, because I used to, in my early 20s, I accepted everyone's connection request on LinkedIn. It's similar to Facebook. Like, you accepted everyone's Facebook request, and then you have to just delete people because it's like,
Mhm.
who are you? But it was this young girl, and she was promoting. I say young girl, probably our age, maybe a little bit younger. Was promoting her social media, like agency, like marketing
Mhm.
agency, social media agency that was hers. And it was just this paragraph about like how to create engaging content and what kind of content is performing best for your business. Like, it was knowledgeable content. Like, I was reading it and I'm like, okay, this is a worthwhile thing to post on LinkedIn. But then the picture, it was just a picture of her standing in front of a wall in like a crop top and a mini skirt. And like, that had like this little off the shoulder moment. And like, loved the outfit. But it's my thing. It's like, LinkedIn is not meant for this. Like, this isn't what
No.
this is for.
Where's your
Like,
pantsuit, sister?
where's the pantsuit? And like, this other guy, he's like, I proposed to my girlfriend this weekend, and this is what it taught me about B2B sales. And I'm like, what?
Get out of here. Get out of here.
I'm just not, I won't accept it. I won't accept
No.
just as much as I won't accept if you start trying to use Instagram as like a, you know, professional networking platform. I wouldn't accept that either. Like, I
No.
just think,
Yeah.
let's everyone go back to your corners. Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone go back to your corners. Stop trying to intermingle. LinkedIn is for LinkedIn. Instagram's for Instagram. TikTok's like, everybody just stop.
Just
Stop
stay
trying to
in
make
your lane. Stay
stop.
in your lane. I
Stop.
completely agree with you. That's
Gosh.
so annoying. And like, the thing that I've been thinking about with just social media and content creating and all these things, and I really am not trying to offend anybody. Like, I'm really not. And so if you get offended by this,
It's
I'm
too late.
really,
I've already
really
offended the
sorry.
LinkedIn influencers. It's
I'm
fine.
really sorry. But like, I've been seeing this trend on TikTok that's talking about like Manhattan cheugy, like things that are, you know, the cheugy term, you know what that means?
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
insulting millennials,
Yeah.
basically.
Like the things that are cheugy specifically in Manhattan. And it's things, I mean, it's things that are like very specific to New York, but I guess like in general, you could consider it things that in most other places in the country it would be considered cool, but in Manhattan it's like at this point it's cheugy if you do it in Manhattan. And so it was like clubbing. Like clubbing is cheugy apparently. Things like that. And like this I was offended. The like denim with a fitted black shirt and like the slicked bun and the black sunglasses and the gold jewelry. I was like, wore that yesterday. Okay, got it.
Wait, they
They
said
were
that
like
was
cheugy.
cheugy?
Yeah, they said it was cheugy. I was like, literally wore that yesterday. But things like that. But I was thinking about the whole like cheugy, just like things that are cringe. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like being like I don't want to say being a content creator, but like being the content creators that are going along with the trends of social media just to make your account blow up, like cringy. Like
Yeah.
cringy and like cheugy. And like when I look at certain things on social media that like people I think I haven't really processed this, so I'm sorry if it sounds really confusing, but like people who are just trying so hard to make their accounts blow up and are doing whatever it takes to make their thing go viral and doing whatever it takes to like, and I don't want to hate on anybody that's hustling because I know that we're all hustling and whatever, but like I'm like, ugh, cringe. Like if you're
Yeah.
because it's like if you're posting, it's not that posting on social media is cringy, but when you're posting in a way that is just trying to like catch the algorithm, that's when
Mhm.
I'm like, ugh. Like post things that are original, please. I'm begging you to be original. And
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I think it's no, but I think it's the equivalent to, and I hate this language as well, but I'm going to like keep the theme going. It's the like trying too hard to catch the algorithm and just chasing the trends. It's giving like it's kind of giving like pick me energy a little bit. Like
It's giving
it
desperate
is
energy.
it's
Yeah.
giving desperate energy. It's
Yeah.
you're right. It's not pick me. It's kind of almost like the reverse pick me. Like but it's desperate energy. And I think that and unfortunately, it's because we've all figured out how it works. I think that in the
Yeah.
beginning of social media, I would have called that hustling for sure.
Yeah.
Because you're posting every day, you're
Mhm.
catching like you're figuring out what is the trending sound and you're doing it like I would have called that hustling. I would have called that like kind of probably innovative or whatever. But I think now that we all know when we're being influenced, it's not it's we just see through it now, you
We
know? So
totally see through it. And there's like
yeah.
entire accounts that are made for the purpose of like here's tips for like catching the algorithm. Here's what you need to do
Yeah.
to make your
To
account
crack the
grow.
code. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like,
exactly.
listen, I get that it's a whole career now. Like I
Mhm.
get that it's a whole like industry. And that's I'm not going to say that it's not respectable. I'm just saying that when I look at it, I cringe. So
Yeah.
that's just me.
Well,
And it ruins the social media experience for me. Legitimately. This is why like I will scroll TikTok all the day long because I don't think that it's as bad on TikTok, but on
mhm.
Instagram Reels, ew. Like literally
Yeah.
ew. I hate it.
You're just yeah, I think it's like the trying too hard element of it that it
Yeah.
and you know what it boils down to? It's because we can see right through it, it doesn't feel genuine anymore.
No, not
And
at
I
all.
think that at the end
Yeah.
of the day, like humans, like people, we are looking for things that feel genuine. Like they look
Totally.
good, they feel organic, they feel genuine, they feel real. And
Mhm.
there's just and it is unfortunate, but unfortunately, like we just know how the sausage is made now. Like,
We just know how the
so
sausage is made,
at the end of
and
the
it
day,
makes me
like
not want the sausage. So
exactly,
goodbye.
we've cracked the code. But it goes back to what we talked about, which I still stand by, like very early on in the podcast, like very early on. I think it's different. Niche is different, I think, than like identity kind of. And I think that
Mhm.
a year or so into doing this podcast, I think we're more clear on like our podcast's MO, like our identity. Like we're talking about
Mhm.
building a meaningful life. Like that is our thing.
Mhm.
But in terms of a niche, I think a niche is it's too easy to crack the code on a niche. It's too easy
Yeah.
to see behind the curtain that like that's what you're going for. Like I follow this I follow one of the very few fitness accounts I follow. It might actually be the only one at this point. She's currently like really capitalizing on the 3-2-1 method because that's like the new
Mhm.
method that everyone's talking about. But it's like I can see that this is like I can see that I'm being sold and influenced on a method, you
Mhm.
know. But I think that happens in a niche. Like in a niche, you can crack the code, but like
Mhm.
you can't crack the code on a person. You know, like if it's
Right.
just a genuine like a hey, I'm just putting myself, like, you are the niche. We are our own niche. Like, we are not part of a niche. We are the niche, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think when you try too hard to like label it, and we can just all figure it out now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we're too aware of the fact that we're being influenced. So that's not working anymore. So now you just have to go on the internet and be a real person and
Yeah.
like hope
Which
that
is
it
probably better
works.
for all of us, honestly. So take this as encouragement, guys. If you're like feeling, because like a part of my freelance work is running social accounts. And so I feel the pressure of like trying to catch the algorithm for people that I'm creating content for. But like, I'm like, I so desperately want the organic to come back and to
Mhm.
just like be genuine and for that to be what Instagram sees as valuable, you know? And I think
Yeah.
if enough of us do it, maybe it will.
Well, and I
Maybe
think
it's
that's true
thinking
for
well.
like our podcast too. I think that it's like it's just going to be slower. You know, I
Yeah.
think that like the word of mouth thing, like catching an algorithm, it's almost like you catch the wave and you can like ride the wave really far, and like you probably pick up a lot of followers and you pick up a lot of like views and engagement and stuff. But like, I don't. And heck, I would love to catch a wave. Like, let's be for real. Like, sure, because people care about the numbers, like catching a wave would be cool. But I'm with you. I don't want to get like to steal a term from you. I don't want to get grabby about trying to catch the wave.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
desperate energy.
it's desperate
Goodbye.
energy, and like I have felt it. Like I think I felt it in the last like couple weeks. Like I can be obsessed about looking at stats and looking at analytics and all. Like I can just as much as you can deep hole with like the social aspect of it. I deep hole with like the actual like the podcast performance. And I feel the desperate energy when it starts to creep in, but it's like, no, we're
Yeah.
just going to like, and I think that what we're doing is, I think it'd be different if I didn't love what we were doing too.
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
I feel clear on what we're doing. I feel clear on its value. And I actually really love it. Like on this content cleanse, which is why I said I'm going to listen to this Abby and Charles Metcalf thing, is because I'm like, I've listened to all the leadership podcasts I can listen to. I've listened to all the Joyce Meyer that I can listen to. And like, we're putting out the podcast that like I would listen to if I didn't already listen to it before you guys listen to it, you know?
Right. Exactly.
And I think that it's good. And so it's different. It's cool because like we're proud of what we're doing. So I'm okay if it takes a little bit more time.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I hate the whole like I've heard some people talk about desperate energy in a way that it feels like you're you're just being like too cool for school and like I don't really
Mhm.
want it. And it's not that. It's more
Mm-mm.
so like from a spiritual lens, believing that God is going to put favor on what he wants to put favor on. And like when you said this earlier this week when we were talking, Sarah, that like
Mhm.
when you're saying and producing something that is like valuable in the eyes of God, he's going to put favor on it. And like
100%.
not giving desperate energy of like I have to do this for myself, like I have to hustle, I have to push, I have to like make something of something when like no,
Nope.
actually you're not that powerful.
Nope.
You know,
All
so
we do is like we're just available.
we're
We're
just available and we're
we
consistent and we're doing the
Yep.
thing that we said that we were going to do, and that's about it.
That's about
That's all
it.
we
And
got
we
to
pray
offer,
that
but
we
like
are
it's a lot.
it's a
So
lot. And like we want to utter, what is it, like worthy, not worthless words.
yeah.
It's like if I'm showing up and I'm saying for the most part, other than my rant about my maintenance man, worthy, not worthless words. I think that I don't know, it just kind of ends up going a longer way. But literally not means I've just like encouraged this really for 2 seconds. I forgot that we were recording.
We're really just encouraged. We're really just like gassing each other up at this point. Like,
keep going,
our
sister.
podcast, worthy, valuable, good content, not something you need a break from. Follow us, bookmark.
Please drop a comment.
Do yourself a favor. No, truly, I do have to go though because I can hear my child absolutely screech. This is another thing about as a child gets older, is they like you shut the door and they realize that you're in the other room still. And he's been sitting outside the door and he's like, "Mom, Mom." I'm like, I'm so sorry, Christian.
You know who you need to call?
Who?
Call Katie. Call Katie.
I do need to call Katie. I actually
Call Katie
texted
this
Katie
week.
McKenzie this week and I was like, are you having a hard time? Because I, for one,
You need to call
am.
Katie.
Yeah.
That just needs to happen. You guys are going to be together in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh, less than 2 weeks, I think.
Less than 2 weeks. Yeah, you just need to call Katie.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's wrap it up. Sarah, what are you excited about?
Oh, geez, man, I'm excited about. I feel like I have not fed myself a real dinner in weeks, so I'm gonna go cook a real dinner. I have like some shrimp and I have some vegetables, and then I also think I'm going to bake a pumpkin loaf because in Alabama
Ooh,
it is below 95, so it's fall, y'all. Emily has Gilmore Girls going on in the
crazy.
living room as we
That's
speak.
below 95 is crazy.
It's fall, y'all. I was like, "Ooh, there's a chill in the air." It was 74 at like 6 a.m. I'm like, "It's a chill." So I'm gonna bake a
uh,
pumpkin loaf and feed myself a real meal. And that's what I'm excited about. What
I
are you
love that.
excited about?
I'll go with the same theme. I also am excited about fall because the pumpkin cream cold brew is back. I've already had two since it came out on
Oh my gosh,
Thursday.
it literally came
Um,
from 3 days ago.
I've already had two, sister, and it's been great. I'm excited for fall. I think like usually mid-September is around the time that our leaves start changing, and you guys know that is when the real Savannah comes out to play. Is when the
Honestly,
leaves
thank
start
God.
to change.
Oh, please, can the leaves come early? God, if you're listening, the leaves come a little bit early this year. Christian and I, we don't get it, but like, tell the leaves to come on.
Tell them to come early because Savannah is not well. I sent Sarah a voice memo. I said, it's not that I don't feel like myself. It's that the worst parts of myself are here and they're here
It's present.
face to face with me. So it's not, unfortunately, it's not that I don't feel like myself. I feel very much like myself in the worst way possible.
Oh my
Oh
gosh,
my
I
God.
love you, dude. It's
I'm
it's
so
good, and that's the
dramatic.
thing. Like we're able to, and I think this is again beautiful part. We're gonna preach the gospel for 2 seconds. This is why we're able to laugh because we have a hope, and His name is Jesus.
We do.
Wrap it up,
Preach the
Savannah.
gospel
Get
for
us out of
2
here.
seconds.
Give me just 1 second.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Call Me Thursday podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment on our YouTube channel and hit the follow button wherever you listen to podcasts. And follow us on Instagram at Call Me Thursday podcast. I've got so many things to list off now with the YouTube added in. I don't even know where to go. And be sure to leave a 5-star review and let us know why you're loving the pod. So, Sarah, I will call you Thursday.
Sounds like a plan, sister. I'll call you Thursday.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.